The University of Southern California has an endowment of $5.6 billion, but students who rely on this money for financial aid wonder where the money's going.
It's been a pretty constant battle with financial aid.
Melly studies theater and literature at USC. Her mom is on welfare, so she pays her own way through school.
I actually chose USC over a multitude of other universities that I had been accepted into, just because of the fact that financial aid was more generous.
But 1 year later,
my aid package had been almost entirely revoked. The adjustment wasn't really explained to me in any concrete manner.
She had to drop out while she was fighting for more financial aid.
I had accepted that I would not be able to return.
And she's not the only one.
USC took away all my financial aid. I decided, and it became clear, that I would need to take the semester off.
You think you've done everything you've had to do right, and now you're just like at their mercy, whether or not they felt like giving you money that year.
These students are back on track now, but only after sending in countless appeals to get their aid back. Still, USC promises students that grants only change if they make more money.
I can understand the anxiety because it's year by year. But at the same time, if the family's circumstances have not changed dramatically, their financial aid is not going to change dramatically.
That's not true. That's just, I mean, I've heard that statement as well, and it shouldn't change if my EFC has remained zero since I began. However, every single semester, I receive a package that has been changed.
Students like Melly get an estimate of what the federal government thinks their family contribution should be online. But private schools like USC use their own formula to get that number. That means they can adjust aid packages without really telling students how or why their contribution has changed. Students are then left guessing what their contribution will be until just days before school starts, when they receive aid award letters like this one. I tried to find out the process for how USC determines aid packages through interviews and consistent phone calls. So are you able to give me any information about how that aid is calculated? But I never got an answer.
They usually send out kind of late. It's like, what is it, August? And you're like, I'm finding out now if I'll be able to go back for my senior year or how stressful it'll be to go back for my senior year.
It's very difficult to devote yourself to your studies and to pay attention when you have, an elephant sitting on your chest, because you're so concerned about whether or not you're gonna receive another bill that just says sorry.
USC did not give me any details about how many students have lost their aid. But a recent student government survey found that 76% of USC students know someone who had to take a leave of absence after their aid was changed. But the aid office says that's not true.
I mean, this is not a routine occurrence for me to deal with a student in that situation. The last few years I've dealt with maybe a couple. So I don't see that as happening a lot, but maybe I'm not aware of that. I don't know.
2/3 of undergraduates get financial aid, but some students wonder if USC is front-loading aid packages.
They like rope you in, and they give you a really attractive financial aid package that first year, and then they kind of like take more and more away. And for sure, I saw that progression.
We're graduating our students, and they're getting through.
USC promotes its large financial aid fund, but to students like Melly,
it's just smoke and mirrors marketing to get as many kids to accept their acceptance letters and assume a position in the school.
A school that leaves some students wondering if perseverance will be enough to cover the cost of a degree. Reporting for ATVN, I'm Madison Mills.